Hey, what is up, everyone? We're here again with another client interview. Today, we're with Michael Lefew. Um, I'm personally really interested in his story, and I'd be more than happy if he could come and share his story and a little bit about himself.
Sure thing. Where do you want me to start?
What you do for work, how old you are, and what your transformation has been like even before the program. Because I've been taking a look at your previous pictures, and it looks like you've gone through quite a lot of personal transformation. We're both part of the same personal development group. And just besides the hair alone, I noticed that you grew out your hair. You just look like a lot, more confident, more developed person. So I want to hear all about that because I know you like to optimize everything. That was what we talked about when you first reached out, and I could tell that you're very goal oriented as well.
Okay. Eric, your sound cut out there for me, but I'm gonna do my best at answering what I got off of your.
Oh man, I'm trying to get this guy back in. And we gotta fix these connection issues.
Okay. Okay.
We're good now. We're good now.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So you were asking about my story. Yeah. So I grew up in Roanoke, Virginia, and not right now. I'm 27 years old, living in Richmond, Virginia. And I grew up as like an athlete in high school, doing track and stuff, and then kept up with some weightlifting and some running and Spartan runs and such things while I was in college and grad school. Then I got into my career and I kept up on my athletics and started to think more about like how can I really dial in on the way that I'm living. How am I gonna, what am I gonna eat? How am I going to keep myself rested and on task and on with my career and my relationships? And that's kind of where I was when I met Eric. And Eric's been helping me to get things a little more just shaped up and structured so that I can live each day knowing here's what I got to do. And I can end the day knowing, hey, I did what I meant to and I'm making progress towards my goals in all of these places. And
Cool,
included, yeah.
cool. So, how long have you been like intent and actively working on yourself? Because I think personal development
Mhm.
is a big thing for you, right? Like you read a lot, you do a lot of things, you meditate, you're doing a
Mhm.
lot of things to kind of like perform on a higher level. So how long have you been working on that?
Yeah, well, I'd say there's different levels of intentionality, and it's going to be to um, it's going to depend on where you are and kind of how much you've fed yourself and freed yourself to think about these things. So I was always interested in it, like in high school, just thinking about like what can I read that's gonna get me wiser, a little more knowledgeable, and how can I move forward? But that was in a really kind of vague way when I was a teenager. It was a lot of like, oh, I'll read these books because they're like considered classics, or I'm gonna like do well on my homework because that's gonna get me into college. It was like, okay, good, all good things, but not very precise. And then in grad school, it was more like, okay, how am I going to narrow down on exactly what I'm going to do with my career? And by that time, I found I was really good at math. I was really interested in healthcare, and I became a healthcare consultant.
No.
And now it's like, okay, how can I move up within that industry? So it's been a process of getting more and more precise and intentional with exactly what I'm trying to develop.
Yeah. Um, what was going through your mind, or what were you looking for when you decided to get help?
Mm-hmm. I think what was going through my mind at that time. So, um, So we got in contact because we were both in Elliot Hulse's group,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And that was last year. It was during the lockdowns when things were a little bit heavier and more shut in. And I had decided to use that time to um, think about what are the ways that I want to hone things um, in the areas of my life that I started talking about earlier. So that's like my nutrition, my exercise, my sleep, my schedule, my relationships.
That's a lot.
And yeah, and Elliot's program had helped me a lot to structure that. Another thing that had helped me to structure that was Jordan Peterson's self-authoring program. So those things had given me kind of a big framework. And I needed a little bit of help with getting everything from that big framework into the details of like, how am I going to live today? So one of the tools that you gave me, Eric, that was really useful was just a habit tracker that was just, okay, here's like 5 things that I want to make sure that I'm doing every day, like meditation, prayer, I want to be eating well, I want to log my gratitudes, I want to know what I'm doing the next day. And so that's helped me to get the definition down to the level of the day with what I'm doing.
Cool, cool, cool. And we even had a conversation. You said like your priority was a career. And not many people I work with is like that. But that's something that I'm passionate about and would love to help more people with. Um, for you, what kind of results did you get working with me?
Yeah, so I would say the thing that's been most helpful towards my career, actually, 2 things have been very helpful. One was you're putting the impetus on me to study. And so, like, making sure that I'm taking in books on the industry and on leadership, because other things that are going to really help me is understanding the healthcare industry and the government side, and knowing policy, because I'm trying to become a better project manager, and that's the direction I'm trying to go up in. And so I've been increasing the number of audiobooks that I'm listening to that have to do with that, and that's really helping me to have conversations with my boss and with the clients where I'm actually quite a bit more fluent than I was a few months ago in terms of understanding the policy and being more than just the statistics guy where I was when I came out of grad school. And so that's been really useful. I've taken on responsibility for $1 million contract, managing that. And my boss has, gone into the new year saying, "Hey, you're doing great. We're gonna try and get you a raise if we can, and then next year we're gonna try and get you a promotion." So things are going up on the track that I really had in mind, and so that's been really good. So I mentioned studying, and the other thing was being on with like my daily plan. So I go into the workday knowing, okay, these are the things that I need to do, and like for the week, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. So helping to get everything structured in that way has also been really helpful.
Awesome, man. Good to hear that. We're just getting started, man. And a lot of people think that they don't have as much control if you're not doing your own business or whatever, but you're always in
Mm-hmm.
control. There's always more that you can do. It's just having clarity and a plan and actually executing on it. Because a lot of these things,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to do. It's good to read a book. It's good to study. It's good to have a schedule. But unless it's intentional and unless there's a plan and you do it consistently, that's why a lot of people don't feel like they have as much control as they do, and that's why a lot of people aren't as fulfilled. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome to hear that, man. So just one more question: what would you say
Mm-hmm.
to somebody who's on the fence of joining this program, the Better You, Better Life coaching program?
I would say I'm gonna tack on to what you were just saying of you need to control the controllables and you gotta have a plan, you gotta do these things. And a lot of what I've been learning over the last couple of years, here's what moves you forward. Do the things that you already know you need to do, but that you aren't doing yet.
Mm,
And I would say, Eric, that something that you've been helping me with has been, there are like 5 or 10, little things that I kind of knew that I really ought to be doing. And you just gave me that extra push to get over the fence and be like, okay, this is going to be part of my life, and I'm gonna be really working to get it through each day.
good, man. Good on you for being aware of that. If the change is not happening, then we gotta do something to make that change happen. Um, And dude, we're gonna have a lot more great months to come. We'll crush a lot more goals. Thank you for hopping on board, man. And I hope I'm pretty sure the audience enjoyed that as well. We'll see you guys soon.
For sure. It's been awesome.